Follow up on that answer. You know, I just want to point some, we're talking about the same thing. Where this is saying this is federally owned land, where they're pointing out here that this is all federally owned land. This chunk of it here is actually currently used as recreational area by the city, even though it's federally owned. Is there not anything the city can do to clean up this portion of the federally owned land without actually owning it?
There's there's a lot of information there that I could take a long time to talk about. Let me try and keep that at a high level, okay? So I talked about the city having a lease on this 28 acres for 99 years. That's a very clear thing and a very clear control. The city has a variety of leases over this federal land here, some of which is in support of the facilities that are here in support of the baseball diamond. There's a building down in there. The city has a little bit of lease for parts of Harbor Road in this area. So this is federal land with some leases on top of it that the city has some interest on, but those leases are not total in any respect there. The oil tanks lands were the oil tanks were owned by a private company, but sat with a lease with the federal government until 2003. The federal government required that developer, the owner of those tanks, to decommission that site to what they, I guess, considered to be the original condition of the site before the tanks went there, which, because it was part of an industrial port area and a harbor area, they've required that to be decommissioned to what's typically called an industrial commercial standard, right? So it has been decommissioned. If it were to support residential development, then there is generally a slightly higher test of what levels of material might be able to remain there. So
okay, we have some a lot of good ideas were brought on our table. Anywhere from the harbor lands to the snow dump. So I'll just list them off and take them where they are. First one is a general consensus there be no development of these parking lots in the city complex. Mostly because there's not enough parking now for what we have. However, if there was going to be some development, that it not be a high-rise and that it not block any views. And that be a mixed-use building, commercial residential mix. One idea was that we should concentrate our efforts on developing the harbor area, and that there should be no commercial fabrication in the harbor area going forward. Some expressed skepticism in this process. Hope that you get all the answers you're looking for, and that we're trying to be as open as we possibly can. One idea was, if we're going to do something in this area, that it be a restaurant, patio bar type thing, help bring the marina into a play, get something for people to go to the marina, something to do. One suggestion was that restaurant go closer to Lookout Point. That would be a better complement to the marina. Create tourist-friendly park by adding artisans, boutiques, that type of thing. Whatever development we look to do is to help increase tourism. Give it something somebody wants to do to encourage them to come down to the park, to stay in the city, use our park. Also, one suggestion was to keep the property in city ownership. That way we can maintain control of what goes on there. One suggestion against the housing was that there would be complaints from the people that live there about the noise from bike path users and park users, and it would just not be a good marriage. One suggestion, lawn bowling in the park, an arts center on the waterfront area, but not necessarily on the waterfront, but in the area to take advantage of the views, downtown areas. And absolutely no development on the ball fields at all.
Comments or questions for Todd?
Okay, then we'll hear from Roy Perkins. I think that's the last table. I've got every table now, but with Roy, nobody's missing. Good.
Merci beaucoup, Ben. Notre table est la table francophone. Si on manque quelque chose, gênez-vous pas. Tu peux rajouter des points que je manque. On va faire la présentation. en anglais pour aider tout le monde. First one is the parking lot area east of the Civic Complex, do not develop. Worries about block view and access to the river. If anything does happen in that area, make sure it's low rise. Possibility of commercial activity, no residential activity, rental shops, cafes, things like that. Need for activity on the water, that's a must. And
but they talked about the main diamonds. There are no main diamonds at Legion Park. If actually, the main diamonds are the T-ball and the coach pitch. If you take away those, you can take away the rest of the diamonds because you start at the fundamental low groups. If you don't get the kids early, you're not going to get them at 10, 11, and 12 years old. You've got to get them at 4, 5, 6, and 7. And for City Council, a few years ago, you took away virtually all the city pools and said, well, they can just go to the complex and swim. They can't. Now you want to take away the possibility of the diamonds? Well, in about 5 years, we're all going to be back here because there's going to be another committee and we're going to talk about fighting child obesity and kids that are inactive because we keep taking away their activities.
Thank you for that.
My name is Susan Poirier and I am a tax-paying resident of Cornwall. I'm also the president of Cornwall District Minor Baseball. Our program is for children ages 4 to 16 years of age. Once again, we're back here fighting to preserve Legion Ballpark. We're fighting for the enjoyment of our children to play Little League Baseball. To be perfectly honest, I'm fairly sick of this. I'm sick of people with agendas and greed for money. Had we, as an association, not stood up for this ball facility 5 years ago, the Benson Center would have been built on Legion Park. This is a fact. You know it and I know it. It was made crystal clear years ago that the majority of citizens do not want changes made to this park. It would be really great if our volunteer families could get through one complete season without someone from the Waterfront Committee trying to take away some of our ball diamonds. Everyone is aware that some of the previous committee members were also in favor of keeping green space, but their services are no longer required. I'm beginning to think Cornwall's tagline should be free and cheap, because that seems to be the purpose of this committee wanting to take this waterfront and to develop it for other reasons. Get it for a penny. We will continue to run our program with our amazing volunteer families who put in full-time hours keeping Legion Park's 7 ball diamonds in tip-top shape. We will continue to plan for our July Ontario Junior Provincial Ball Tournament being held at Lut Bergeron Memorial Senior Field at the park. We will continue to run an organized and successful House League program for all ages. We will continue to field River Rats and Black Sox traveling teams. And we will just continue, because I'm letting you know that is our agenda. We will fight this development. Our T-ball and coach pitch fields are the starting point of our program. I feel we have the best hockey, soccer, and baseball facilities around. But greedy people want to take part of that away. And I don't think we'd be having that discussion if we were talking about hockey or soccer. As long as I'm around, and unfortunately for some people I am, I will speak up for the kids who play Little League and their families who take care of Legion Park. And our families take care of that 16 acres. I'd like that noted. To the best of my abilities, I will ensure that every child has an opportunity to be the next Canadian champion Cornwall Black Sox.